there. Let's talk about one other matter that, Nigerians has been talking about and which, Labour also addressed today, and that has to do with electricity. Labour has given the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission 7 days to reverse the hike in electricity tariff for Band A customers. And we also know that the Minister of Power has clarified that this increase is necessary. Else, there will be total blackouts in the country. Mr. Ado, how does organized labor react to this? Do you see reasons now with the minister on why they actually needed to take this step?
Well, I think government is always for the benefit of the people. While addressing a policy fix, the current situation at the right time to increase electricity tariff, no matter how the situation was, because we have been agitated, particularly on the issue of military. A lot of people are complaining that they are paying for what they have not consumed. And even the electricity is not available. We are paying for darkness. So I think this electricity tariff increase is not timely. That is why during the August meeting of the two labor centers, decided and resolved to give the federal government 1 week ultimatum to reverse this increase, or otherwise the labor centers will take the next line of action. And due process was not even followed while increasing the tariff, because there was a provision that stakeholders' engagement should be conducted first before the increase. And the labor centers or organized labor are also stakeholders in that direction, and nobody calls us. It's just a unilateral increase by the NERC. So I think that is why the organized labor give this, and obviously looking at the current situation we find ourselves, we have not gone out from the troubles of removal of the fuel subsidy.
Well, you spoke about metering, but we know that the Nigerian government has actually announced that there will be deregulation of electricity meter prices.
Still there are queues?
Yes, under the meter set provider scheme.
Even if that has been announced, I think due process should be followed, and the timing has to be looked upon. So that is why the organized labor has taken position on that, and I believe we'll continue to pursue that.
All right, let's go to Mr. Lakimfa. Mr. Ado mentioned something about due process, and I'm wondering what your take is on labor's engagement with government over time. How effective has it been, really?
Well, the first thing is that when I heard the minister threatening that there will be total blackout in the country, I just laughed. You can't start threatening Nigerians with blackout when we live with blackout. The second thing is that by the time we had the Jonathan administration, we have 4,000 megawatts of electricity. Now we have less than that. The third problem that we have is that, the NEPA was, TSN was privatized. They said we'll have more income, we'll have that, all long stories. What they did was they multiplied bureaucracy from one bureaucracy to 18 different bureaucracies and paid people all over. So what you find that we have is that we are just underdeveloped. There is no country that can develop without electricity. And all the stories the minister talked about and I hear government officials talk about, they say nothing about alternative, power supply, which goes on all over the world. I visited Kigali once, that's the capital of Rwanda, and a lot of it was on was on solar. And I found that the man who did that solar for Kigali, for Rwanda, was from Kano. So we have all sorts of alternatives, and nothing is done. In the past, they used to tell us, because there's not enough water in Kainji, now you have gas, there's not enough gas. Just give excuses and excuses and excuses. And there's no reason, why would people tell you if they can easily bill you for nothing, for supplying darkness? That is the problem that we have. The country is down. We need to rethink and revive the economy. Everything is just down. And I think the government must start asking people, to take responsibility and punish people for not doing their job. How can we have the same 4,000 with Jonathan, the same thing, and long stories? I mean, NLC tells you we have enough wealth, but for 2 weeks we can't circulate the fuel around the country. What kind of nonsense is that? And then you grind the economy for that? So part of the problem that we have is that the government is not holding people accountable. And there is so much impunity in the country. So we need to sit down and let people do their jobs, and those who cannot do their jobs just simply go home. That minister, I think, is just joking.
Mr. Lakamfe, yes, Mr. Lakamfe, yes. Don't you think that, this step government is taking is actually to help the sector? I mean, to bring in fresh air and to ensure that the much needed change, actually materializes at this time. Like, action has to be taken, and don't you think that's what is taking place?
What action has been taken that you think we should commend? What action are you talking about? Increases in the cost in tariff? Is that what you're talking about? Because all we have known, in the last 12 years is they are just increasing tariff. Do we commend the government for increasing tariff? I don't understand that. So what action do you mean precisely that the government is taking that we need to commend them for?
But just so know, there are talks that these funds would, be available really as resources to the discos and everyone involved in the chain to actually provide the much needed power.
We are just dancing disco. These stories have been told all over and over again. Please go back and listen to Rajiv Fashola as minister and all the stories about power and metering and increasing generating. Just go back and listen to them. The same story. So what exactly should we commend the government about for increasing tariffs, which they have been increasing, every year or in fact 3 times a year? So what exactly is the action?
Let's talk about action. Let's talk about the way forward. Right. The Speaker of the House of Reps earlier today appealed to organized labor to actually prioritize negotiations and dialogues with government. How do you think we can achieve that, Mr. Lakamfe?
Well, you see, if you negotiate and there is no implementation, there is problem. And you find that since June, the TUC and the NLC have been negotiating with government, even on the question of the 35,000 naira award that a lot of states and parastatals are not paying. Do you know there are government agencies that are not paying salaries in this country? Do you know that, for example, you had some agencies that are not paying salaries at all this year? Do you know that? I mean, how do you run the country like that? How?
So talking about government ensuring that, workers, of course, this, should actually get the benefits for the work that they have put in, and they should be paid. To Mr. Ado, I'm wondering what you also think about how we can actually achieve a harmonious relationship with government, because more often than not, it does appear that most of these dialogues end in industrial actions, which, you would agree, does no one any good, really, because you find students out of schools, you find patients laying in hospitals without being attended to because the doctors and health workers are on strike. How do we achieve a harmonious relationship between government and organized labor?
My senior comrade has already said it. There is no essence of dialogue without implementation. Where organized labor has been in negotiation with government and other employers of labor so many times, but the issue is implementation. I believe we have a lot of signed agreements in the health sector, in the education sector, and with organized labor that has not been implemented. And in as much as organized labor will negotiate with government and we fulfill our own part, while the government will not fulfill its own part, I believe the trust between the two parties will continue to be eroded. And at the end of the day, there's not going to be any harmony between the two parties. So to my own, the only thing that can bring industrial harmony is that government and other employers of labor should ensure implementation of outside agreement, and they should look at it and they should not commit themselves on what they should not implement, because I believe all these agreements were signed by the two parties not under duress. So why shouldn't they implement? If at all, at the end of the day, the two parties or the signed agreement was implemented, I don't think there will be any problem. All we are saying is implement what we signed. Look at this issue of wage award, as he was saying. We still have so many pending issues that were signed in October last year, including the issue of CNG, including the payment of the wage award, and so many issues. The refineries, what has been done? Government promised to bring about the refineries into use, particularly that of Port Harcourt, by December. Where are we today? We are in May. But does the refineries start working? I think these are the issues that need to be addressed by the government.
Deputy President of the NLC and also President Medical Workers Union of Nigeria, Sani Ado, and the former General Secretary of the NLC, Owela Kimfa, thank you very much for your time on the program. I hope when we talk again next year, we'll have some good news based on our conversation today.
Thank you very much. We pray for that.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. But that's our program today. Do watch a repeat broadcast at midnight and at 6 a.m. I am Abosede Adeniran Aderemi. Bye for now.